Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game, and please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
It's the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. Hello, everybody. This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner on hand to bring you the second and concluding game of this series between the Phils and the Mets. This broadcast is authorized under radio rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Right now, how about checking your own supply of fine cold Rheingold? Rheingold Extra Dry. Yes, sir, put some Rheingold on ice, because it can add a lot to your enjoyment of the game. Here is a beer with the clean, clear taste, brisk and bright all the way through. Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. Dry tells you why. Say, right now would be a good time to light up a Viceroy. Viceroy is not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. That's right. On a warm and sunny afternoon, the groundskeepers are just getting the infield in shape for this afternoon's ball game between the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. The opening game of the series here last night was won by the Phils by a score of 11-9. As the Phillies scored 3 runs in the top half of the first inning, the Mets came back to get 2 in the bottom of the first inning. And from there on, the scoring was identical until the top of the 8th, when the Philadelphia Phillies added 1 more to make their margin 2 runs. And that's the way the ball game ended, 11-9. Frank Thomas had 2 home runs last night for the New York Mets, including a grand slammer for Thomas, numbers 20 and 21 in the home run department this season. The loser was Al Jackson, who started for the Mets. And the winner of the ball game was Dennis Bennett, a left-hander working in relief for the Philadelphia Phillies. And so we're getting set now for the second game. And here are the starting lineup and batting orders for this afternoon's game. First, for the visiting Philadelphia Phils, leading off and playing second base, Tony Taylor, Gaylor. Batting second and playing right field, Johnny Callison, Callison. Batting third and playing center field, Tony Gonzalez, Gonzalez. And batting cleanup and playing first base, Roy Sievers, Sievers. Roy Sievers playing first base for the Phils. Playing left field today and batting fifth is Wes Covington. He is followed by third baseman Don Demeter. Demeter was in left field last night. He's been moved back to the infield today at third. He is interchangeable. Batting seventh and catching is Clay Dalrymple. Batting eighth and playing shortstop is Ruben Amaro, A-M-A-R-O, recently back from his stint in the armed forces. Ruben Amaro back at shortstop for the Philadelphia Phils. And on the mound today for the Phils, warming up out there right now, Art Mahaffey, M-A-H-A-F-F-E-Y. Art Mahaffey, a right-hander who has won 14 games and lost 9 thus far this season for the Phils, one of the National League's top hurlers. Still warming up. And now the starting lineup and batting order for the New York Mets. Leading off and playing right field, Richie Ashburn. Batting second and playing second base, Rod Neal. Batting third and playing shortstop, Charlie Neal. Batting fourth and playing left field again today, Frank Thomas. Batting fifth and playing first base, Marv Throneberry. Batting sixth and playing center field, Jim Hickman. Batting seventh and catching, Clarence Choo-Choo Coleman. Batting eighth and in the lineup at third base today, rookie Rick Hershiser, who made his first appearance in the uniform of the New York Mets last night, recently brought up from Syracuse. And on the mound for the New York Mets, Craig Anderson. He is a right-hander who thus far this season has won 3 games and lost 11, but has been worked into the starting rotation by manager Casey Stengel. And Now second baseman Tony Taylor steps into the batter's box. He's a right-hand batter. Up to lead off for the Phils. Craig Anderson's into the windup, and the pitch is in there for a call, strike one. Tony Taylor with a season's batting average of 266, including 6 home runs. Anderson again is set to work, and the pitch is on the way. It is bunted back, foul, and out of play. It's a strike 2 count. Now to Tony Taylor. Craig Anderson making his 8th start and his 33rd appearance of the season. He won over the Phils in relief on May 6th in a 12-inning game. He has appeared 4 other times against them, all in relief. Curveball swung on and missed, strike 3. So he has Tony Taylor chasing one. For strikeout number 1, there's nobody on, and Johnny Callison is coming up. Callison is a left-hand batter, hitting 298 for the season with 11 home runs. Defensively around the infield, the New York Mets have Marv Thornberry at first, Rod Neal at second, Charlie Neal at short, and Rick Hershiser at third base. There's a pitch inside for ball 1. Frank Thomas is in left field, Jim Hickman is in center field, and Richie Ashburn is in right. Choo-Choo Coleman is the catcher. For the Phils, Al Vinson is coaching at first base, and manager Gene Mock running the club, and the coaching line's at third. Here is the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Slow curveball. Chopped off. Foul out of play. It's 1-1. It's Sudol working behind the plate and, of course, working with the jacket on, as in the National League. All umpires except Jock O'Connell used the inside chest protector. Slow curve swung on and popped up to the infield. Marv Thornberry comes over. The man with the big glove waits and takes it to the out. Craig Anderson was making the call. 2 away, nobody on. And that will bring up Tony Gonzalez. Gonzalez is hitting 323. 17 home runs, 58 runs batted in. Has a consecutive game hitting streak of 16 games going right now. Tony Gonzalez had 4 base hits last night. He's a tough man at the plate. Has been all season long against the New York Mets. Craig Anderson has the sign into the windup and the pitch. It's inside for ball 1. Tony Gonzalez with that bat cock waiting for the pitch. It's on the way. Fastball missing outside. It's 2-0 now. In case you missed the late score on the coast last night, the Pittsburgh Pirates defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers 9-1 as Bob Friend got the victory, went all the way. Dan Williams was the starter and loser for the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's a pitch in there for a call strike. Gonzalez jumped back, but Ed Sudol says that caught a corner. It's 2-1. So starting play today in the National League, the Los Angeles Dodgers are on top, and the San Francisco Giants are in second place, 4 games out. Cincinnati Reds are only 7.5 games out. Pittsburgh 8.5 games out. Slow curveball swung on and fouled into the stands and out of play. Back to third base. 2-2. There are thousands of midget Mets on hand here at the Polo Grounds this afternoon, so it will very likely be a noisy afternoon. There's a pitch swung on. It's a high fly ball down the line and left, curving over, and it is off the scoreboard for a home run. Off the scoreboard on the way down for a home run for Tony Gonzalez, an opposite field homer. And for Gonzalez, it is home run number 18 and puts the Phils out in front by a score of 1-0. As most of you baseball fans know, here at the Polo Grounds, the upper deck and the scoreboard hang out over the lower deck. And Frank Thomas had moved in underneath, hoping for the trajectory of the ball to bring it right on down, but it bounced off the facing of the scoreboard, which makes it a home run. That brings up Roy Severs, the right-hand batter, in there for a called strike. Severs is hitting 258 for the season. That's a curveball in there. Strike two. But that is not indicative of the way Severs has been hitting of late. He got off to a very slow start this season. Of late has been hitting very well. And that, of course, continues Tony Gonzalez' consecutive game hitting streak at 17 straight games. There's a pitch swung on and lined over the head of Charlie Neal and on out to center field for a base hit. A soft liner carrying just far enough to get out of reach of Charlie Neal and then dipping down into the turf, relayed back in by Jim Hickman. But Severs is on with a single. And Wes Covington's coming up. Pride of Laurinburg, South Carolina. And here is the big left-hander. Hitting 267 with 7 home runs. Pitch is outside for a ball. 1-0. The Phils lead by a score of 1-0 here in the top half of the first inning. Wes Covington came to the major leagues with the Milwaukee Braves. Anderson's pitch, slow curve, swung on. It's a ground ball to second base. Taken by Neal and fired on over to Thornberry in time. Covington grounds out second to first, and in the top half of the first inning, the Phils got 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. So at the end of 1 half inning of play, score is the Philadelphia Phillies 1 and the New York Mets coming up 0. We're going down to the bottom half of the first inning, and Richie Ashburn is coming up to lead off for the New York Mets. Ashburn has a consecutive game hitting streak going at 10 games. This to the hand for Richie, who is batting .324 for this season. 6 home runs and 24 runs batted in. This is the year of the rejuvenated Whiz Kids. Richie Ashburn, Robin Roberts, Kurt Simmons, and even Granny Hamner. Art Mahaffey winds and fires high and away for ball 1. He's a flamethrower. He can fire it. Last season struck out 17 men in a day game. Art Mahaffey. And he is set to work. And that pitch is fired inside. 2 balls and no strike. This is his 26th start, his 27th appearance. Mahaffey lost to the Mets on April 29th, 8-0. He worked 3 1/3 innings and gave up 8 runs on 5 hits. He won 2-1 over New York in a root-going performance on May 6th. His only relief appearance of the year was against the Mets. His last time out in Philly, he beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 9-2 for his 14th complete game. Mahaffey has won 14 and lost 9. Here's a pitch missing high and away for ball 3. Ashburn waiting. 3-0 pitch in there for a called strike 1. 3-1. Rod Neal kneeling on deck. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swung on and lined into the glove of Demeter, who backhanded the ball at third. He was in on the edge of the grass, and it spun him around as he managed to get the glove on it in backhanded fashion. So Ashburn is out on the line shot into the glove of the third baseman, Don Demeter. Here is Rod Neal coming up. He has a consecutive game hitting streak going at 11 games. Rod Neal with a season's batting average of .310. 3 home runs, one of them a grand slammer. Mahaffey with the pitch to the right-hand batter. It's high for ball one. Mahaffey's 24 years of age. This is his third season with the Philadelphia Phils. Sidearms. This one in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. Defensively around the infield, the Phils have Roy Sievers at first base, Tony Taylor at second, Ruben Amaro at short, and Don Demeter at third. Wes Covington in left, Tony Gonzalez in center, and Johnny Callison in right field. Here is a 1-1 pitch. Swung on and popped up towards third. Don Demeter with the glasses slipped down is underneath and waiting, and Demeter squeezes it for the out. Two away, nobody on, and Charlie Neal is coming up. Charlie Neal has the season's batting average of .253. Playing shortstop these days. Still bothered with his right hand. Has a cyst on the back of it and a bruise on the inside. And he uses only a little piece of raw hide to bind the thumb to the forefinger to keep the hand from stretching there. That pitch is inside. As a result, Neal has been taking a lot of balls to right field. He moved back from the plate a little bit, and those inside pitches, he's been firing down toward right field. Mahaffey with the windup and the pitch. Swung on, and there's a ground ball down the third baseline. Oh, foul. It's 1-1. Included in the crowd of youngsters here today, a group of 75 English boys from the Forest Hills Comprehensive School in London, England. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Neal. Swung on, and it's a fly ball to deep right field. It is Sidney Callison back. He is underneath and waiting at the edge of the warning track. He takes it in the warning track for the out. Neal with a fly ball deep to right field. And in the bottom half of the first, the Mets got no runs on no hits, no errors, and nobody left at the end of one full inning of play. The score is the Philadelphia Phillies 1 and the New York Mets nothing. Cincinnati Reds will be in here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And the Reds will be in again on Saturday for a doubleheader and again on Sunday for a doubleheader. Tickets are now on sale for those games and all future games to be played by the Mets here at the Polo Grounds. Let's take a look now at the alignment of games in the major leagues for today and tonight. First in the National League. This afternoon, the Chicago Cubs meet the San Francisco Giants in San Francisco. Pittsburgh Pirates tonight meet the Los Angeles Dodgers on the West Coast. Tonight, the Houston Colt 45s play Milwaukee in Milwaukee. And tonight, the St. Louis Cardinals meet the Cincinnati Reds in Cincinnati. In the American League, in Cleveland, at the end of one inning of play, it's the Los Angeles Angels 1, the Cleveland Indians nothing. Bo Belinsky going for the Angels. Bud Cat Grant is pitching for Cleveland. Kansas City is at Detroit this afternoon. Boston Red Sox meet the Chicago White Sox in Chicago this afternoon. Billy Marmoset beat early win 1-0. Last night, Marmoset pitched a no-hitter. Tonight, the Minnesota Twins meet the Baltimore Orioles in Baltimore. The Yankees and the Washington Senators are not scheduled. So that's the way the action is lined. We'll keep you posted on scores of other games throughout the afternoon. Moving to the top half of the second now, and Don Demeter is up to lead off for the Philadelphia Phillies. Pitch is swung on, and it's lined out into left field. Thomas is coming on, can't get to it. He one outs it. He was playing Demeter very deeply. And, well, he might. Demeter has 17 home runs. But in this case, he has a single to left. Runner at first, nobody out. Catcher Clay Dalrymple coming up. Dalrymple has a batting average this season of .302, including 6 home runs. But mid-season, about this time last year, Clay Dalrymple's batting average was way, way down, and suddenly he caught fire and went on a hitting streak and has been hitting ever since. Pitch is low for a ball. For the last half of the season, last year, Clay hit for a .283 average to give him a final average of .220. He was down that low, but he has been coming right on, opening up this season, and has moved on at a clip of .302. Ball one and no strikes now to the left-hand batter. Has a wide stance at the plate. Here's a throw over, not in time, as Demeter gets back safely. Another throw over, and Demeter standing on the bag. The stance is something that Dalrymple changed and has been hitting well with the wide stance. Swing and a miss. It's almost a flat-footed stance. Here's a throw to first, not in time. 1-1. It's almost the old Gus Zernial type of flat-footed stance. He seems to move that front foot just a fraction of an inch. Now he steps back into the batter's box and assumes the wide stance. There's nobody out. Demeter takes a short lead off the bag at first. Greg Anderson turns and fires over. He's back safely. The Phillies lead by a score of 1-0 on a home run by Tony Gonzalez in the first inning with nobody on. Here's a pitch to Dalrymple. Swung on, and there is a fly ball into left field. Thomas moves over, makes the catch halfway on the fly ball. Demeter moves back to the bag at first. There's one away, no advance. Frank Thomas was playing Dalrymple over in left center, so managed to get to the ball easily. Here is shortstop Ruben Amaro. Went into the Army on May the 6th and came back on July 26th. Stepped right back into the lineup as though he had never been away. Actually, he had been playing baseball in the Army and had been working out with the Phils on weekends a great deal, although he was not a weekend performer, as are some Major League ball players in the armed forces. Amaro has a batting average of 282, one of the finest glove men in the game. Here's a throw over, and Demeter gets back safely. The pitch to the plate. Curveball in there. Breaking ball. Strike one count. Rick Hershiser at third base, getting his first start with the Mets. He was a bonus player signed out of Southern Methodist University by the Milwaukee Braves. Initially was at Louisville earlier this season, was bought and brought to Syracuse, and then the Mets brought him on up. Made his first appearance last night. He's running a swing and a miss to throw to second base. Neal takes it, and he's out at second base by a good margin. They had Demeter running on the pitch. And Choo-Choo Coleman has thrown Demeter out as the throw was taken by Neal, and they had him by plenty. 2-4 if you're scoring. 2 men out, nobody on. Count to Amaro, 0-2 now. Took his cut. Greg Anderson works straight away with the windup. Breaks this one low and away. It's 1-2. Art Mahaffey has moved out to the on-deck circle. For the Phils, wearing the jacket, kneeling in the on-deck circle. That is a custom that needs to be encouraged. Right now, Ruben Amaro has called time. He has discovered a deficiency in his bat there, a little splinter apparently, and he is going back to the bat rack. Flings that bat aside. Another one is tossed to him. And here he comes back. Gene Mark has his cap off down at third and is observing this operation. With no malice, it must be said that Gene does not look as youthful as he did when he came to the majors as a manager. He's aged a little bit in his job of running the Philadelphia Phils. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled out. Out of play. It's 1-2. With 2 men out and nobody on base, and the Phils leading by a score of 1-0. Here is the 1-2 pitch. Low and away. It's 2-2. Rick Hershiser, when he was brought up, was described in newspapermen as another Rod Neal. That was when another pitcher asked what position Hershiser played. That means he can play all the infield positions, including first base. It's 2-2 pitch. Slow and away. The count is out full now to Ruben Amaro. Manager Gene Mark thinks that there's nobody who can field the shortstop position better than this fellow. And here is a payoff pitch. Swung on, full foul down past Moss. Count holds at 3-2. Sunny, comfortable afternoon here at the Polo Ground. 3-2 pitch outside. He walked him. That is the first walk given up by Craig Anderson. It gives the Phils a base runner with 2 men out and brings up pitcher Art Mahaffey. Mahaffey has a batting average this season of 143. We were coming up to the ballpark this morning by subway, and the subway train went out of action at 59th Street. All passengers were ordered off. A little worried about missing the ball game until we saw Art Mahaffey on the same subway train. Here's the pitch swung on and fouled off. So it's strike one. Leads off the bag at first. There's a pitch, curveball missing outside. It's 1-1 to the Philly pitcher. We're in the top half of the second inning here at the Polo Grounds in Met game number 104 of this season, home game number 49. Pitch to Mahaffey, swung on, and it's a ground ball going through the hole into left field for a base hit. Thomas up with it. Hard hit back in to Charlie Neal. Holding at second is Ruben Amaro. And Mahaffey has a ground single to left. So with runners at first and second, 2 men out, Tony Taylor's coming up. He's been up one time and he struck out swinging. Runners lead at first and second as Craig Anderson has the sign. He is into the stretch. The pitch to Taylor is into the dirt. Ball one, blocked by Choo-Choo Coleman. No advance on the low pitch. Johnny Callison is now on deck for the Phils. It's Taylor. In there for a called strike. It's 1-1. Phillips spins over that plate. Draws a great many base on balls. He has asked that umpire Ed Sudol examine the baseball. Pitch. Swung on and belted for a line shot into center field. Rounding third and coming home is Amaro. Mahaffey's on his way to third. Up with the ball is Jim Hickman relaying it in. Runners at first and third. 1 run in on the play for the Philadelphia Phils. For Tony Taylor, a line shot to center and a run batted in. Art Mahaffey moves to third. Taylor holding at first. The Phils lead by a score of 2-0 with 2 men out. Johnny Callison's coming up. He's been up one time and he popped out to Thornberry at first base. Craig Anderson checks and deals to the left-hand batter, high and away for ball one. Bending way over to get the sign. Has it now. Runners lead first and third. Here's the pitch to Callison. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Mets and the Phils in the second game of this bobtail series. This is the concluding game of the series. Now the 1-1 pitch. High and away, it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Johnny Callison. Taylor takes the lead off first. Art Mahaffey leading down the line from third. Craig Anderson checks and deals, and the pitch is inside. 3 balls and 1 strike to Callison, with Tony Gonzalez on deck for the Philadelphia Phillies. Craig Anderson is getting his hand, shakes off 1. Now he's set. 3-1 pitch. Outside, he walked him, and the bases are loaded. That is the second walk given up by Craig Anderson in this inning. So Mahaffey is at third base. Tony Taylor is at second base, and Johnny Callison is at first base, with Tony Gonzalez coming up. He has been with 1 time, and he had a home run. All of this action began after 2 were out. And now action in the bullpen, and the New York Mets has left-hander Ken Mackenzie is up to throw. Ken Mackenzie now warming up in the Mets bullpen. Phil's lead here by a score of 2-0. Base is loaded, and here is the pitch to Gonzalez. In there for a called strike to the left-hand batter. He is hit safely in 17 consecutive games. That's number 3 in the batting order for the Phils. Calls time now, steps back a moment. Gonzalez had 4 hits last night, so he's had 5 hits in his last 6 times at the plate. Fastball in there for a called strike 2. Dipped in. Craig Anderson trying to pitch himself out of trouble here with the bases loaded. Gonzalez waits. Anderson with the windup. And the pitch swung on. It's a ground ball. That is second by Neal on a high hop. He plays on the Thornberry inside. Neal going back on the edge of the outfield grass to play the ball. So Gonzalez is grounded out to the top of the second. The Phil's got 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 3 men left. And at the end of an inning and a half, the score is the Philadelphia Phillies 2 and the New York Mets nothing. And coming up now for the New York Mets, Frank Thomas, who had a big night last night with 2 home runs, including a grand slammer and a couple of nice plays in the outfield. For Thomas, home runs number 20 and 21 last night. He has an overall season's batting average now of 287. Against Philly pitching, Thomas is hitting 366. He has hit 4 against the Phillies this year at the Polo Grounds. Thomas now steps into the batter's box to face right-hander Art Mahaffey. Mahaffey is looking in for the sign. Here's the pitch swung on. It's a foul ball back at the bag at third. And right now we pause for station identification.
This is WGY 810 on your dial, Schenectady, where the time is now 25 minutes before 3.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at the Polo Grounds. Strike 1 count to Frank Thomas. Curveball swung on, and it's deep to left field. It's up there, and it is off the scoreboard for a home run. Frank Thomas. gets the Mets into the scoring column with his 22nd home run of this season, his 5th home run against the Phillies at the Polo Grounds this season. And Big Frank Thomas has broken out in a rash of home runs. Here's Marv Thornberry coming up to score now on the Phils 2 in the Mets line. Ralph Canner, how do you account for the fact that home run hitters usually get them in clusters?
Lindsay, I don't know how you can really put it down simply. It's just a matter of having the ball come off the bat at the right elevation, and how it happens, no one knows. You can hit the ball very well and still never get it in the air.
All right, here's the pitch to Marv Thornberry, swung on and foul back. Strike one count.
I think, again, it's a matter of percentage with a home run hitter. Eventually, he's got to hit enough balls in the air to hit home runs.
Right, here's the pitch high and away to Marv Thornberry. Well, does confidence have anything to do with it? After you get one or two, do you feel any better about it?
I think so, too. I think that's certainly important. You seem to have the feel for it, and you loosen up, and they just come.
Well, it's certainly been the history of home run hitters. Here's a pitch, breaking ball in there for a called strike. 1 and 2 to Thornberry.
It does take perfect timing to hit a home run, and just being off a little bit can make all the difference in the world.
No question about that. Here's a 1-2 pitch, swung on and fouled off. Well, Frank Thomas is a good case in point. He hit a home run here on May the 1st, and then did not hit another until last night, which was August 1st, and that means May, June, and July. He was homerless at the Polo Grounds. Here's a pitch low. It's 2 and 2 to Thornberry. And then suddenly Frank Thomas has hit 3 in 2 games. Here's 2-2 pitch. Swung on, full foul. The let-up pitch, and he was around and just sort of chopped it off foul. Art Mahaffey looking for his 15th victory of this season today. He has a record of 14 and 9. Pitch to Thornberry, swung on and missed, strike 3. Used the fastball and struck him out. And that is strikeout number 1 for Art Mahaffey in this ballgame. Brings up the center fielder of the Mets, Jim Hickman. Hickman has the season's batting average of .270, including 8 home runs. Curveball is low for ball 1. Choo-Choo Coleman is now on deck for the Mets. Mahaffey winds and fires. In there for a called strike. Fastball, 1-1. Again, the right-hander works. A little tight. It's 2 balls and 1 strike to Hickman. Ruben Amaro out there at shortstop going through a set of calisthenics to loosen up. Now Mahaffey has the sign into the windup. The pitch, slow curveball. That is drilled down the third base line. Backhanded by Dimmitt. A long throw, and he is out at first base. A beautiful fielding play by Dimmitt as that ball was drilled right over the bag, and Dimmitt went over. Took it deep, backhand fashion, and had the long throw. He had gone across the line and fielding it. Got it to first base just in time to get Hickman. 2 men out, nobody on, and Choo-Choo Coleman, left-hand batter, coming up. Coleman's hitting .250. That's being brought up to the Mets from the Syracuse team. There's a pitch inside for ball. Rick Hershiser is on deck now. Swing and a miss. 1-1 to Choo-Choo. Ed Sudol taking a moment to brush off the plate. head checking his wrist there as he finished brushing it off. There's a curveball swung on and fouled off. Sudo was checking his wrist to see if he got into that dust on his wrist. During the All-Star break, he went home to Daytona Beach and engaged in a little work around the yard, moved a few trees, and came up with poison oak, which he has on the backs of his hands and along his arms. So he is not the most comfortable man in the ballpark. 1-2 the count to Choo-Choo Coleman. Mahaffey winds and fires. The pitch is swung on, and it's a high pop down the line and right. Tony Taylor's back there. Roy Sievers is back there. And Taylor, one-handed as Sievers goes across the rail. Got him right at the waist and bent him across into the box seats. But Taylor had one-handed the ball for the out that retires the side. Right down the line and right where the seats got out there. And so in the bottom half of the second. The Mets got 1 run on 1 hit. The homer by Frank Thomas. No errors and nobody left. So at the end of 2 innings complete, the score is Philadelphia Phillies 2 and the New York Mets 1. As we move to the top half of the third inning, the Phils will be sending up Roy Sievers, Wes Covington, and Don Demeter. Face Craig Anderson. Joe Christopher is out there warming up Anderson, waiting until Choo-Choo Coleman takes over, and Choo-Choo is out there right now. So as Anderson continues to warm up, coming in here right now, a man who's already all warmed up, Ralph Kiner.
You're right, Lindsay. 2 quick scores, 2 games being played in the daytime besides here at the Polo Grounds. The Angels won, Cleveland nothing. Angels won a doubleheader from Cleveland yesterday. Valensky and Grant, the opposing pitchers there. Boston out in the top of the first inning with Schwall and Herbert going in that one. No other games under play except right here at the Polo Grounds. Now Roy Sievers against Craig Anderson. And the first pitch, a curveball outside, ball 1. Roy batting .258. Right-hand hitting first baseman. Choo-Choo Coleman giving the signs to Craig Anderson. Craig shaking no on the first one. Now Sievers backs out of the batter's box. Roy has 15 home runs, 58 runs batted in. 2-1 game in favor of the Phillies. Now Anderson's at work, and he's outside with a changeup, ball 2. Sievers singled to left field his first time up. 1 of the 5 hits off Craig Anderson. He has given up 2 runs. Struck out 1 and walked 2. Now the right-hander back to Sievers with a fastball, called strike 1. This game getting underway just about the same way as last night's game. Phillies scored 1 run more than the Mets in the first inning. And from there on, for 6 innings, the Mets duplicated every run scored by the Phillies. There's a hard smash by the shortstop into left field. Base hit for Roy. Charlie Neal going to his left. Couldn't get to the ball. The ball was hit that hard. And Sievers is up with his second base hit. That'll bring up Wes Covington, the left-handed batting left fielder. Wes grounded out to second base his first time up. Came on to .265. No one out at the top of the third inning, 2-1 in favor of the Phillies. Craig Anderson into the stretch and delivers, and the pitch is low, ball 1. Fastball, throw to first base by Coleman, but Sievers back in time. Wind blowing in slightly from left field. The 1-0 pitch by Anderson, a let up that's low again, ball 2. So Craig Anderson, through 2 innings, has given up a total of 2 runs and 6 hits. Walk 2, so the Phillies, with some hitting from their bats, taking the lead 2-1. Phillies have some thumpers in their lineup. They've got some power. Right here, Wes Covington can hit the ball as far as anybody. Now the 2-0 pitch to West. Bounce down to first base. Throneberry up with it to the shortstop, covering second in time. Back to first base, not in time. And the throw dug out by Throneberry. Good play. Mets just missing a double play by an eyelash, but they pick up the lead man for out number one. And coming up now, Don Demeter. Demeter put the Phils out in front in the first inning of last night's game when he had a two-run home run, his 17th of the season. In this one, he has one hit and one time up. Batting at .282. Right-hand hitting third baseman today. And he takes the slider low outside, ball one. Demeter leads the Phillies and runs batted in with 66. On at first base, Wes Covington with a short lead. And a throw there moves him back safely. Now Craig Anderson into the stretch position. And he delivers to Demeter outside with a curve, ball two. Phillies 2 runs on 6 hits. The Mets have 1 run and only 1 base hit. The 1 run coming on a home run by Frank Thomas. He has now hit 3 in the series, 2 last night, and he has a total 22 for the year. 2 balls and no strikes. Again, a throw chases Covington back to first base. He gets there ahead of the ball. Anderson back to the plate to Demeter, and it's popped up in foul territory. Coming over by the home dugout is Morris Thornberry, but the ball goes in the stands. Count now 2-1 with 1 out, top of the third inning. In 10 games, the Phillies have won 7. Mets have won 3 here in the season. And at the Polo Grounds, Mets have won 2 and lost 3. Two balls and 1 strike to Don Demeter. And Craig Anderson now back to work. And the pitch is swung on, foul tipped into the catcher's glove, held there by Coleman, strike 2. Dodgers lost last night, so the San Francisco Giants trailing the Dodgers in second place by 4 games. Cincinnati, who will be in here tomorrow for a night game, a doubleheader Saturday and Sunday, only 7.5 back. They have won 13 of their last 14. Now the 2-2 pitch to Demeter, a sidearm curveball. It's outside for ball 3. So Don Demeter and Craig Anderson going all the way, 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. The on-deck batter, Clay Dalrymple, the catcher. Throw to first base, moves Covington back again. He gets there safely. Pittsburgh, in beating the Dodgers, now only 8 1/2 games behind, in 4th place in the National League race. 3-2 pitch inside, ball 4. That moves Covington on down to second base, puts Demeter on at first, and brings up Clay Dalrymple. 1 out to score, 2-1 in favor of the Phillies. Walk number 3 issued by Craig Anderson. He has struck out 1 and given up a total of 6 base hits. Now Clay Dalrymple, left-handed hitting catcher. He flied out to left field his first time up, batting .302. Craig Anderson with a look at second base and to the plate with the first pitch to Dalrymple. A fastball that Sue there calls strike 1. Wes Covington at second base. At first base, Don Demeter. Demeter turned in a great play on Jim Hickman in the last inning. One strike pitch, a curve, pulled foul just by Vincent, the first base coach. And the count now 0-2. Demeter started out his baseball career as a center fielder for the Dodgers. He was converted to a third baseman by Gene Mock, the manager of the Phillies. And he stuck with him even though he did have his problems at the beginning. Has a good arm, and he's done a good job in the field here as of late. Here's a two-strike pitch. It's high for ball one. Fastball over the top of the head of Clay Dalrymple. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Phillies now with 50 wins and 58 losses. They have won 3 more games than they won all last year. 1-2 pitch to Dalrymple. A curveball swung on a miss, strike 3. So Craig Anderson picks up his second strikeout for the second out here in the top of the third inning. And coming up now is Ruben Amaro with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Ruben walked in the second inning and scored a run. 1 of the 2 by the Phillies. Batting .282. No home runs, 8 runs batted in. Right-hand batting shortstop. First pitch to Amaro, a curveball outside, ball 1. Two-one game. Phillies lead it, top of the third. Now Anderson with the 1-0 pitch. Fastball hit the right field, but it's going to curve foul. It's foul by about 8 feet. And the count now, 1 ball, 1 strike. Amaro spent most of the season up till now in the service. He did play a stretch while on leave. Now out completely and ready to play, and he is one of the best fielding shortstops in the game. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. And Craig Anderson delivers to the shortstop. Ball off of the glove, and it's going to go as a base hit. Craig Anderson got the glove on the ball, just slowed it down enough to keep from going to the shortstop, and it rolled just far enough away to keep Craig from picking it up to make a play at first base. If the ball had gone through, Neal might have had a good play to get his man at first base. It'll go as a base hit, and the bases are loaded now, and the batter will be Art Mahaffey. And Ken Mackenzie up now for the second time in the bullpen for the Mets. Wes Covington at third base, at second base Don Demeter, at first base Ruben Amaro, and Art Mahaffey with 1 hit coming into bat. Mahaffey started the game hitting .143. Batting from the right-hand side, and he fouls the first pitch off, strike 1. Out in front, fouling the ball off the end of the bat. Going over by the first base side. Mahaffey has good power, and he's a good hitter for a pitcher, in spite of the average. He stands in there well. Into the windup now, and the first next pitch to Mahaffey is swung on and missed. The curveball, strike 2. Coming down the line in the windup by Anderson, Wes Covington, he was down halfway to home plate. That actually bothers the hitter more than it does the pitcher. If you're not going to go, the best thing to do is stand still. Here's a 2-strike pitch. Hit down the left field line. It could go all the way, and there it goes. A grand slammer for Art Mahaffey. is Art Mahaffey's second home run. This one coming with the bases loaded, and it gives the Phils a 6-1 lead. That ball was hit right down the line. It bounced off the scoreboard, which fronts the second deck. Grand slam home run, the second one we've seen here in 2 days. So it's a 6-1 game in favor of the Phillies, and the batter is Tony Taylor. And the first pitch to the right-handed batting second baseman is a ball inside, ball one. One 0 pitch, a let-up that catches the outside corner to knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the windup and the pitch back, a fastball that's high, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. Phillies with 6 runs on 8 base hits. Mets have 1 run on 1. Here's Anderson back to the second baseman with a fastball. Called strike 2. Well, the Mets, if they're going to duplicate last night's action, will have to score 4 runs in the bottom of the third. A windup and a 2-2 pitch, and it's off the handle out in the shallow center field. Coming on now is Hickman, and he goes across and makes the catch. Fine play by Jim Hickman to retire the side. But in the inning, the Phillies pick up 4 runs on 3 hits. There were no errors and no one left on. And the score at the end of 2 1/2 innings of play. The Philadelphia Phillies 6, the New York Mets 1. And while we wait for Art Mahaffey to get all set to pitch here in the bottom of the third with the score 6-1 in favor of the Phils, we'll take this opportunity to pause for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady, 810 on your radio dial, where the time is now 1 minute before 3 o'clock.
Beautiful day for baseball and beautiful day for Rheingold. Ralph Kiner along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy from the Polo Grounds. And today's game will conclude the 2-game series with the Phils. The Cincinnati Reds come in for a night game tomorrow night. A doubleheader on Saturday and a doubleheader on Sunday. The doubleheader on Saturday starting at 1 o'clock. So, a big weekend of baseball coming your way. Right now coming your way, the bottom half of the third inning. And the first pitch by Art Mahaffey is a strike call to Rick Hershiser, playing at third base, batting from the right-hand side. Mahaffey back with a good fastball, strike 2. Mahaffey, through 2 innings, has given up only 1 base hit, a home run to Frank Thomas. He holds a 5-run lead. 2 strike pitch, bounced off the pitcher's glove, but Amaro comes across, and he takes it, makes the play at first base in time. Bouncing ball that Mahaffey deflected in the air. Amaro had time to come across in front of second base, take the big hop, and throw the runner out. It'll go 1-6-3 if you're scoring, and it brings up the pitcher's position, Craig Anderson, and he will bat. A right-handed batter hitting 105. And Mahaffey's first pitch misses low for ball 1. Art Mahaffey, only 24 years of age, with a record of 14 wins and 9 losses. 6'2", 200 pounds. He lives in Philadelphia. Misses again for ball 2. One time, Art struck out 17 batters in a daytime game, which was the record for the National League. Sandy Koufax topped that by 1. He now holds it. Mahaffey has pitched 14 complete games this year. And he catches a strike to Anderson. The count now 2 balls and 1 strike. He has a lifetime record of 34 wins and 31 losses. 1-1 against the Mets. The 2-1 pitch in there, strike two. Six-1 game in favor of the Phils. Here's the windup and the 2-2 pitch. Hit down towards the first base side. Severs over to his right, picks the ball up, throws to Mahaffey in time for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down, and the batter is Richie Ashburn. Richie lined out to Demeter at third base his first time up, 0 for 1. He came on at .324 with 6 home runs and 24 runs batted in. And the first pitch to the left-handed batting right fielder is a strike called. Fastball through. Curveball popped up in the shallow area behind second base. Going back is Amaro. He calls and makes the catch to retire the side. 3 up and 3 down the score at the end of 3 innings of play. The Phillies 6, the Mets 1. On August 17th, it will be Stan Musial night, and the Mets will honor Stan Musial. Plenty of celebrities behind that one. Arthur Godfrey. Also, Mayor Lawrence. Governor Lawrence now of Pennsylvania. He was the mayor of Pittsburgh. Will be out here for that one, too. Then Gil Hodges night on August 24th. So, August 4th, August 17th, and August 24th, special nights here at the Polo Grounds. And, of course, on August 17th, the Cardinals will be in, along with Stan Musial night. On August 24th, the Dodgers will be here. So, make your reservations for all 3 of these games for plenty of fun, along with National League Baseball. 3 convenient locations to purchase tickets right here at the Polo Grounds at the advanced reservation window. Open 7 days a week downtown at Grand Central Station and also downtown at Pennsylvania Station. Ticket reservations may be made at all the Howard clothing stores in the New York area. Okay, now, top of the 4th, and the first batter up for the Phillies, Johnny Callison, takes the strike called from Craig Anderson. Anderson working to Callison, Gonzalez, and Severs here in the 4th inning. 6-1 in favor of the Phils. Callison, the left-handed batting right fielder, takes outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Phils with 1 run in the first, 1 in the second, and 4 in the third. Mets got their 1 run in the second inning. There's a swing and a foul ball, strike 2. Four runs coming on the Phillies side of the board on a grand slammer by Art Mahaffey. One ball and 2 strikes as Anderson comes back to the plate with a curveball. It's lined to right field. Coming over to play the ball off the wall, Richie Ashburn. He does perfectly. And Callison holds at first base with his first base hit in this game and his first base hit of the series. Hit number 9 off Craig Anderson. And now the batter, Tony Gonzalez. Only 4 for 5 last night. Has hit in 17 consecutive games. His home run in the first inning here today, his 18th, gave the Phils a 1-run lead. 1 for 2 today. Left-handed batting center fielder. And the first pitch to Gonzalez, a slider that's low, ball 1. Phillies 6 runs on 9 hits. The Mets have 1 on 1. Now the right-hander checking the runner at first. And back to Gonzalez with a fastball that's through. 1 ball, 1 strike. Breeze picking up a bit, blowing in from left field. 1-1 pitch, pulled, fouled. And the count now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Al Vincent, the first base coach, coming up with that one. He shows quite a bit of silver gray hair under that cap, doesn't he, Lindsay?
Certainly does. He's been at the baseball wars a long time, Ralph.
Well, he spent 3 or 4 of them with the Phillies. That had some gray. 1-2 pitch. It's low, and it's ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Gene Mock, before the game, was saying that he felt the Phillies have finally made their move and that they're on their way up, and it looks as though he's right. They have a young ball club, and their pitching is coming around very nicely. Throw to first base, chasing Callison back. Speaking of young players, Callison, one of them, coming on now. Next pitch to Gonzalez, bounced over the pitcher's mound. Coming up with the ball is Neal. He goes to first base, not in time. And there was no tag made at second base. No, he's called out. So Neal did tag the runner coming down to second base, and here comes Gene Mock out to argue with Tom Gorman. Neal came up with that ball right by the bag, just a little bit towards first base, made a sweep at the runner, and then tried to complete the play at first base. And Tom Gorman did not give a sign immediately, and then gave an out sign. So they got the lead man, and that's a fine play for Charlie Neal. An outstanding play. 1 out, and exchanging at first base on the tag out, Tony Gonzalez. Now Mock going off the field. Time is back in, and Roy Sievers comes to bat. Roy 2 for 2 in the game. 4 hits in the series. He's been hitting well, and he is one of the contributing factors to the Phillies moving up. Got off to a slow start. Now doing a fine job. And the first pitch to the right-handed batter has popped up foul down the left field line and going out of play. 1 strike count to Roy with 1 out. The Phillies leading 6-1. Final game of this 2-game series. The Phils won the first one last night. 11-9. The winning pitcher was Dennis Bennett, who came on in the game in relief. Al Jackson, the loser for the Mets. In that one, Frank Thomas drove in 6 runs with 2 home runs. One of them his 4th Grand Slammer. Tomorrow, the Mets play the Cincinnati Reds in the single game Friday night. Jay Hook scheduled to go for the Mets. Saturday in the doubleheader, it's going to be Roger Craig and Bob Miller. Throw to first base, but Gonzalez with a short lead back. Again going over there, and again Gonzalez, about 2 steps away, made it back easily. Now Anderson with a 1-strike pitch, and the swing and the foul ball that results goes over towards the left side, and the count now 0-2. Roy Sievers against Craig Anderson. Anderson out in front with a 2-strike count. Sievers right-handed batting, first baseman. And the next pitch to Roy is just off the plate, ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. At Chicago, Boston Red Sox just off a no-hit, no-run game by Bill Mambo Kett. Have just scored 5 runs in the top of the second to take a 5-0 lead over the White Sox. Small pitching against Herbert. There's a throw again to first. Again, Gonzalez back. Gonzalez stole a base last night. He is tied with Tony Taylor for the club lead. There's Sievers' drive to left field. This one is tagged, and it's off of the wall. Bouncing over towards the center fielder, Hickman. Up with the ball is Hickman, and scoring all the way from first base, Tony Gonzalez. And Roy Sievers in at second with his 3rd base hit of the game, and that ball was a line shot, belted to left field, high off the wall, and bouncing all the way over to Jim Hickman as he played the carom. It's a 7-1 game in favor of the Phillies as Craig Anderson has given up his 10th base hit. And once again, action in the bullpen for the Mets. It's Ken Mackenzie up and throwing for the third time. Boy, that ball was belted to left field on the line. And Severs now out at second base, 3 for 3 for the day. That's his first run batted in. And it gives him a total of 59. Here's Wes Covington, 0 for 2. Left-hand batting. Left fielder, and he takes a slow pitch that bounces in the dirt, blocked there by Coleman for ball 1. Now Coleman wagging the sides to Anderson. Anderson sets and comes back to the plate with a curve that's down in the dirt. And this one blocked out towards third base, and Severs holds again at second. 2 balls and no strikes. Phillies 7 runs on 10 hits. The Mets have 1 run and 1 hit. Top of the 4th inning. Craig Anderson into the stretch position. And delivers to Covington inside. Ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. The on-deck batter, Don Demeter. Well, Craig Anderson, his last time out, picked up a save as he came into the game with a tying run on first base against the Cardinals and got 3 men in order in the 9th inning, preserving a win for Ken Mackenzie. Now Mackenzie out in the bullpen warming up as Anderson works here in the 4th inning. And a 3-0 pitch is a curveball. It's over, strike 1. Covington was going for it, held up at the last minute. Three balls and 1 strike. And the 3-1 pitch to Covington bounced down through the center into center field, going by Rod Cannell. Here comes Severs from second base. He scores. And Covington holding at first base. And the score of the game is 8-1 in favor of the Phils. And here comes Casey Stengel. That's all for Craig Anderson. The sign going out for Ken Mackenzie to come on in. Well, Anderson, through 3 1/3 innings, has given up a total of 8 runs. Covington will be his if he scores. He allowed a total of 11 base hits, struck out 2 and walked 3. And, of course, Craig is the pitcher record. He came into the game with a 3-11 record. And he leaves trailing by 7 runs. Ken Mackenzie, a left-hander from Gore Bay, Ontario, Canada, coming in. This will be Mackenzie's 30th appearance of the year. He has worked 54 2/3 innings, giving up 64 hits, allowing 34 runs. He has a 4-3 1-loss record, picking up his last win against the St. Louis Cardinals. He's walked 23, struck out 31, has a 5.56 earned run average. Mackenzie will be pitching to Don Demeter as his first man, and while he does his warm-up pitches, we'll check the scores. In the National League, a night game, St. Louis at Cincinnati scheduled. Houston and Milwaukee also under the lights, and Pittsburgh out at Los Angeles under the lights. Incidentally, Pittsburgh beat the Dodgers last night. And in the only day game other than right here at the Polo Grounds, Chicago scheduled against San Francisco. In the American League, the Los Angeles Angels playing Cleveland, leading 1-0 through 4 1/2. Bo Belinsky pitching for the Angels against Frank Funk, who came in the game in relief of Mudcat Grant in the 5th inning. Kansas City 1, Detroit 0 through 2. Rakow pitching for the Athletics against Hank Aguirre. And Boston 5, the White Sox 0 as they bat in the bottom half of the second. Schwal pitching for the Red Sox, Ray Herbert in for the White Sox. In a night game, Minnesota scheduled against Baltimore, and the Yanks and Washington not scheduled today. A pinch runner in the game for the Phillies, Ted Savage, running for Wes Covington. Young rookie with great speed and great promise. He was the most valuable player in the International League last year. By Ken Mackenzie to Don Demeter, and it's a fastball inside, ball 1. Phillies leading 8-1. Top of the 4th inning. Phils broke the game open in the top of the 3rd on the grand slam home run by Art Mahaffey. Now Mackenzie back to the right-handed batter, and the pitch again is inside for ball 2. Two balls and no strikes. Ken Sett looks at first base and throws the first strike. Strike 1. And a throw to first base moves Savage on back there. 2 balls and 1 strike with 1 out. 8-1 Phillies. And the pitch back to Demeter is a ball called. 3 balls and 1 strike. Demeter started to go, then held up in time. Ken Mackenzie, left-handed pitcher from Yale University. Goes into the stretch position and comes back to the plate low for ball 4. That moves Savage on down to second base, 90 feet away. Gives Demeter first base, and Mackenzie now has walked the first man that he has pitched to. And it brings up Clay Dalrymple, the left-handed batting catcher. Clay, the only man not to have a base hit in this game for Philadelphia now, sets in the batter's box. Came on at 3:02. And the first pitch to him is popped up in foul territory. Coming over, Rick Hershiser. He has room and drops the ball. Rick Hershiser, by the warning track, about 20 feet away from the stands, looked up, got the ball in his glove, and couldn't hold it. It scored an error on Rick. Well, just about everything happening to the Mets here today. Although that's the first error of the game by the Mets. First error in the game. Goes as a strike. And now Ken back to the plate with a 1-strike pitch. And he picks up strike 2, called. Phillies with 8 runs on 11 hits. The Mets have 1 run and 1 hit. Pitch back to Dalrymple, called strike 3. Mackenzie picking up his first strikeout. That's out number 2, and it brings up the shortstop, Ruben Amaro. Ruben Amaro with 1 hit and 1 time up. He also has a walk to go along. Right-handed batting, shortstop. And his first pitch is hit sharply down to Neal. A good play to throw to second base in time for the force play to retire the side. That ball well hit, and Neal moved to his right, took it on the 3/4 hop, right on the grass, turned and threw to second for the play. In the inning, though, for the Philadelphia Phillies, they pick up 2 more runs on a total of 3 base hits. There was 1 error and 2 men left on, and the score at the end of 3 1/2 innings of play. The Philadelphia Phillies 8, the New York Mets 1. Now an all-time great song, sung by an all-time great singer.
This is Helen Traubel. I put some new words to an old song. There are lots of taverns in the town. Here's a spot where you can sit you down for friendly fun and pleasure and leisure by and by. A glass of Rheingold extra dry. Most restaurants and taverns here serve Rheingold. New York's favorite beer is brisk and bright and clean, clear through. Yes, clean, clear through. A beer as beer should really taste. Take my advice and please make haste. Order ice cold Rheingold, the beer that's extra dry. The finest beer that you can buy. At your kind friends at you. That's so wrong. Now once again you won't go wrong. Next time you're in a tavern, if you buy famous Rheingold extra dry.
Rod Neal against Art Mahaffey as we move to the bottom half of the 4th inning. The Phillies leading 8-1. Neal, and Thomas against the right-hander, and the first pitch is a called strike 1. Mahaffey with a good fastball on the outside part of the plate. So far, he has given up 1 hit, a home run to Frank Thomas, struck out 1. And he comes back with a big curveball, strike 2. Mahaffey taking plenty off the curve, picks up his second strike as the Mets bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Rod, his first time up, popped up the 3rd. Now the 2-strike pitch. Again the curve, but this time it's low, ball 1. Rod batting .310 with 3 home runs and 15 runs batted in. The windup and the 1-2 pitch. Bounce back towards the mound. A little dribbler picked up by Mahaffey. 2 Seavers in time by 4 steps. 1 out now, and Charlie Neal comes to bat. Charlie flied out to deep right field his first time up. One game in favor of the Phillies. And Neal now 0 for 1, batting .253 in the batter's box. The windup and the delivery for the first pitch to Neal, a curveball for strike 1. The 1-strike pitch to the right-handed batter, fouled straight back. Strike 2. On deck batter, Frank Thomas. He has scored the only run of the game for the Mets, picking up his 22nd home run. There's the 2-strike pitch, but inside, ball 1. That home run by Frank giving the Mets a total of 89 home runs for the year. The Phillies have had 2 home runs in the game, and they have now 100 home runs for the season. Curveball bounce foul down towards third base. Demeter up with it. Does not make the throw as the third base umpire, Bill Jankowski, signals foul ball along with Ed Sudol, the home plate umpire. 1 ball and 2 strikes. balls, 2 strikes. And Mahaffey's next pitch is fouled away, and the count will hold at 1-2. Art Mahaffey led the Phillies in just about every pitching department in 1961. 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. That's the second strikeout for Art, and it's his second out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And it brings up Frank Thomas. Frank's home run, the only hit and run scored off Mahaffey in this game. Mahaffey led the Phillies pitchers in strikeouts, total innings pitched, complete games, total wins, and shutouts in 1961. Also last year, he struck out 17 Chicago Cubs. Won that one 6-0. Here's the first pitch to Frank, a curveball, swung on and missed, strike 1. Thomas 1 for 1, started the game at 287. Ed Sudol marking off the batter's box for Frank. Frank standing right on top of the plate, right on the batter's box line. Fastball, it's on the outside corner, strike 2. So Mahaffey out in front of Frank, 0-2. With 2 men out, the score 8-1 in favor of the Phils. There's the 2-strike pitch. Lined into center field, a base hit for Frank. And he holds at first base as the throw comes on in. So Frank Thomas with the only 2 hits off Mahaffey. And the throw to first base as Thomas comes back into first. And the Mets now with a runner at first and Marv Throneberry, the batter. Thomas did not have a big swing at that ball. He was sort of full, but still got enough of the bat on the ball to line it into center field. Now Marv Throneberry, and the first pitch, a curve is high for ball 1. Marv struck out swinging his first time up. Mahaffey with the 1-0 pitch. It's outside for ball 2. Again, Mahaffey coming back with the curve. Two balls and no strikes. 8-1 game, Philadelphia. Fastball that goes right through in the strike zone. 2 balls and 1. Thomas not being held on at first base. And the next pitch to Throneberry is inside, ball 3. Roy Seavers at first base, playing about 8 steps in back of Thomas, looking for all the room he can get with the left-handed hitting Throneberry at bat. 3-1 now as Mahaffey comes set and comes back to the plate. And there's a high pop-up in foul territory going out of play. So it's Throneberry and Mahaffey all the way down the line at 3-2. On deck batter, Jim Hickman. Mahaffey doesn't like the new ball put in play, gets another. Jim Hickman, his first time up, was robbed of an extra base hit on a great play by the third baseman. But right now, 3-2 to Throneberry. There goes Thomas, and the pitch is fouled off. The count will stay at 3 balls and 2 strikes. While we have this opportunity, we'll take the time to pause for station identification.
You're tuned to WGY Schenectady, your New York Met station. The time, 33 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock.
Kiner along with Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy from the Polo Grounds. 3-2 on Mark Throneberry. Score 8-1 Phillies. Thomas on at first base. 2 outs and the runner goes. There's a ball bounced down to Severs right where he was standing behind the runner. He takes it, goes to first base to retire the side. In the inning for the Mets, 1 base hit, no runs, 1 man left, and the score at the end of 4. Philadelphia Phillies 8 runs on 11 hits. They have made no errors. The Mets have 1 run on 2 hits. They have made 1 error. Now as we move to the top of the 5th, and here once again is Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Ralph, the Philadelphia Phillies will be coming up here with Art Mahaffey, Tony Taylor, and Johnny Callison scheduled up. This is the concluding game of the 2-game set, and the surging Cincinnati Reds will be in tomorrow night at 8 p.m. The Reds will be here for a Saturday afternoon doubleheader starting at 1 p.m. New York time and a Sunday doubleheader starting at 2 p.m. New York time to conclude the current homestand, a brief homestand. Then the New York Mets will hit the road for a brief road trip, meeting the Los Angeles Dodgers Monday night and Tuesday night, the San Francisco Giants Wednesday night and Thursday afternoon, the Cincinnati Reds Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. Then the Mets will come home on Tuesday afternoon, August 14th, for a 15-game homestand. Tickets are now on sale for all future games of the New York Mets at the Polo Grounds this season. Well, I'll bet that plenty of you fans are taking this opportunity to check your supply of cool, refreshing Rheingold Extra Dry. Yes, sir, Rheingold is beer as beer should taste, and Dry tells you why. Keep plenty of cold Rheingold on hand for every Mets game. Grand Slammer was his second home run of this season. Mahaffey's a right-hander all the way. Now facing Ken Mackenzie. The wind-up in the pitch, inside for ball 1. After Mahaffey hit his grand slammer, he was given the dramatic treatment in the dugout. Several of the Phillies stretching out on the bench, requiring towel treatment into a pseudo-fainting act. Here's the pitch that's in there for a called strike. Gets 1-1 to Art Mahaffey, as the Phillies lead here by a score of 8-1. Phils have scored in every inning. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 4 in the third, and 2 in the fourth. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, and it's a pop in the short right field. Neal is digging back. Ashburn has called for it, and the right fielder, Richie Ashburn, makes the catch. So there is one away, and that will bring up leadoff man Tony Taylor. He has struck out swinging, single to drive it a run, and flat out to center field. In Cleveland, going to the bottom half of the 6th inning, it is the Los Angeles Angels 2 and the Cleveland Indians 1. Bo Belinsky is pitching for the Angels, going after his 8th victory of the season. Jim Mudcat Grant started for Cleveland. Funk has relieved him in the 5th. Bubba Phillips homered in the 6th with nobody on. There's a pitch high for a ball. So that the Cleveland Indians have tied it up, still batting in the bottom half of the 6th at 2-2. Ken Mackenzie with the pitch that is bunted down the third base line. Taken by Hershiser, and he fires it on to Thornberry in time for the out. Rick Hershiser charging the ball and firing it on. 2 men out, nobody on base, and Johnny Callison coming up. Up the first, walks and single to right. He has 1 hit in this series. In Detroit, going to the bottom half of the 4th inning, it is the Detroit Tigers 2 and the Kansas City A's 1. Rocco against Gary. Kaline homered in the 3rd with 1 man on for the Detroit Tigers to account for their 2 runs. Callison is a left-hand batter, standing and waiting now as Ken Mackenzie is into the windup, and the pitch is outside for ball 1. Clarence Choo-Choo Coleman is the catcher. New York Mets is scheduled to pitch Jay Hook tomorrow night against the Cincinnati Reds. There's a swing and a miss. 1-1. The pitch is on the way to the plate. Bunted, foul. pop down toward the coach's box at third. Hershiser didn't have a chance for it. Now it is being run down and retrieved by manager Gene Mock off the field. Callison moving up, tried to bunt the ball and popped it way up in the air. 1 ball and 2 strikes. With 2 men out and nobody on base for the Phils here in the top half of the 5th inning. Tony Gonzalez is swinging bats in the on-deck circle for the Phillies. Mackenzie dips into the windup and a pitch. Fastball in there for a called strike 3. Struck him out. Second strikeout from Mackenzie as the left-hander gets the Phils out in order in the top half of the 5th inning and prevents them from scoring for the first time in an inning in this ball game. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. In the 4.5 innings of play, the score is the Philadelphia Phillies 8 and the New York Mets 1. Now coming right up, a short performance by a famous trio.
The Rheingold extra dry, extra talented players prove love will find a way.
Won't you come home, Bill Betty? Won't you come home? It's been a long, long year. I'll do the cooking done. I'll pay the rent. I'll buy you Rheingold beer. You'll find it so refreshing. It's clean, bright taste. And dry is the reason why. Dry beer for you.
Hey, I think I'll have 2.
Bill Betty, won't you please come home?
Sure, I'll come home, Gil Bailey. Sure, I'll come home. If you buy my favorite beer. Why, Rheingold's the name, my darling. Rheingold's the name. Bill Bailey is coming. Oh, hurry for Rheingold. Rheingold extra dry.
Who was here?
To the bottom half of the 5th inning, and the New York Mets are sending up Jim Hickman. He has been up 1 time, and he grounded out third to first. Art Mahaffey is the pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies with a record of 14 victories and 9 losses. He has allowed only 2 hits in this ballgame, both to Frank Thomas. As a slow curveball in there for a called strike. Thomas homered in the 2nd inning, single in the 4th, and those are the only base hits that the New York Mets have achieved. And Mahaffey with the pitch in there for a called strike. Sharp-breaking curveball there. Mahaffey has struck out 2 and walked none. The Phils have committed no errors. Here is a swing and a miss. He tried to check it, but chopped it. So it is another strikeout, number 3 for Mahaffey as Hickman is out, swinging. That brings up catcher Clarence Choo-Choo Coleman. Been up 1 time. Fouled out down the right field line. The catch made by Tony Taylor. Mahaffey into the windup and pitch. And a slow curveball that is way inside. It's ball 1. Rick Hershiser moves into the on-deck circle for the Mets. As Mahaffey comes with the pitch. Again, a breaking ball that is high. 2 balls and no strikes. Going to the top of the 4th in Chicago. Boston Red Sox 5, Chicago White Sox 2. Al Smith homered in the 2nd with 1 on. On Schwal for Boston. Herbert started for Chicago. Here's a pitch from on and full foul up on the rooftop down the line and right. Now to play a foul ball, 2-1. In Chicago, Herbert started. Sandy in the 2nd, Joyce in the 2nd. Minnesota at Baltimore tonight. The Yanks and Washington are not scheduled. National League, St. Louis at Cincinnati tonight. Houston at Milwaukee tonight. Pittsburgh at Los Angeles tonight. Chicago at San Francisco later this afternoon. Change of speed, swung on and missed. It's 2-2. Ed Sudol comes around now to brush off the plate. In fact, he brushes off half the plate. Mahaffey with the 2-2 pitch, and he is called out on strike. So Choo-Choo Coleman is caught looking. 2 strikeouts in this inning for Mahaffey, 4 in the ball game. And coming up is rookie Rick Hershiser. Broke in last night for the New York Mets as pinch hitter. This afternoon. Been up 1 time. Sent a ground ball up the middle. It was deflected off the glove of Art Mahaffey. Taken by Ruben Amaro and thrown on to Severs for a 1-6-3 infield out. tall and rangy right-hand batter. All sports star at Southern Methodist University during his collegiate days. He takes a call, strike one. 25 years of age and makes his off-season home in Dallas, Texas. Low curve is in there for a call, strike two. Art Mahaffey has used that pitch a great deal this afternoon. Big change off his blazing fastball. That's the fastball swung on and foul back to the press deck out of play. 2 men out, nobody on base for the Mets batting here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. There's a pitch swung on, fouled out to the right side. 2-strike count. Pitch misses low to Hershiser. 1-2. That foul ball that came back to the press deck a moment ago landed in a supply of flash bulbs and exploded a good many of them. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Hershiser. Fouled off to the right side, out of play on the ground. Count holds at 1-2. Is now looking in that bag to see if there are any flash bulbs unexploded. It's a swung on and full foul, this time down the third baseline. Fielded by Solly Amos in the coaching box at third. The Phillies are leading here by a score of 8-1 over the New York Mets. Now a new ball is being put in play. Umpire Ed Sudol rubbing it up before he tosses it out to Art Mahaffey. The 1-2 pitch is on the way. Swung on and foul back onto the screen as Rick Hershiser guards that flanner. So far, Mahaffey has struck out Hickman and Coleman in this inning. Getting stronger as he goes. He is set to work with the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and foul back into the upper deck behind the plate, out of play. Count holds at 1-2. Happy with the pitch, high and away for ball two. It's 2-2. Ted Savage playing left field now for the Phils. Wes Cummings started in that position. 2-2 pitch swung on, and it's a high fly, a foul ball on the left field line on the rooftop. Not out of the ballpark, but full foul. So the count holds at 2-2 to Hershiser. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Inside. 3-2. Happy with the windup. Payoff pitch swung on, fouled off to the right side, out of play. Count holds at 3-2. Hershiser's hanging in there up to now. Fouling him off. Richie Ashburn is there on the on-deck circle. He's not the next batter. Pitcher is. There's a pitch swung on and popped out down towards third. It's being chased over by Don Demeter into foul territory. Now he comes back and takes it in fair territory for the out. So Hershiser has popped out to third, and the side is out in order in the bottom half of the fifth. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. It's the end of 5 full innings of play at the Polo Grounds in New York. The score is the Philadelphia Phillies 8 and the New York Mets 1. And now here's one of America's most popular singers with a musical lesson in 2 languages.
Vic Damone sang down on Mulberry Street, far and near. The one they like is Rheingold beer. Rheingold è la birra da bere, che delizia poterla godere. Dolce amara non è, ma perfetta lo è. Comperate la Rheingold tester. Italian and English have the same word for refreshment, Rheingold. Remember that name when you want beer that's brisk and bright and clean clear through. Dry tells you why. Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costlier way. It's New York's favorite. It's beer as beer should taste. My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Think of Rheingold whenever you buy beer. It's not bitter, not sweet. It's the dry flavor treat. Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer? Ciao.
The Phils will be coming up here in the top half of the 6th with Tony Gonzalez, Roy Sievers, and Ted Savage. Ken Mackenzie got the side out in order in the top half of the 5th inning, the first time that the Phils have been out without scoring in an inning in this ballgame, as they lead it 8-1. Here's Tony Gonzalez, who's been tough at the plate recently. Gonzalez had a homer in the top of the 1st today to extend his consecutive game batting streak to 17 games. Tomorrow night, Joey J against Jay Hook. As the Cincinnati Reds come in here to open up a 5-game series that will be played in 3 days. Gonzalez, a left-hand batter, came to the Phils from the Cincinnati Reds. Left-hander Mackenzie with a pitch swung on and missed. Strike 1. Phils have collected 11 hits in scoring their 8 runs. They've had 2 home runs, one by Gonzalez and a grand slammer by Art Mahaffey. Mackenzie with the windup and the pitch. Low for ball. It's 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 1-2. Big Roy Sievers is kneeling on deck for the Phillies. Gonzalez waits and now steps back. Time is called. He comes back in. Mackenzie rubs up the baseball. Now looks into the sign. Has it. Dips into the windup. And here is the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Struck him out. Strikeout number 3 for Ken Mackenzie. As he opens up here, getting Gonzalez swinging in the top of the 6th. And with nobody on, that'll bring up Roy Sievers, who is 3 for 3. Single, single, and double. Has driven in a run and scored one himself. Pitch is high and away for ball 1 to the big first baseman. Roy is one-time home run champion of the American League. The Washington Senators at that time. Change of speed, high and away for ball. It's 2-0. Sievers became a first baseman because a shoulder injury, an operation that prevented his being able to make the long outfield throw. That pitch is low for ball. 3-0. So Ken Mackenzie is way behind now on the batter. 3-0 pitch. In there for a call, strike 1. It's 3-1.
the 3-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. It's 3-2. Fourth inning, Stevens ripped a line shot off the wall. One of the hardest hit balls of the season here. The 3-2 pitch. Check swing foul ball off into the on-deck circle where it is fielded by Ted Savage. The count holds at 3-2 to Roy Sievers. Mackenzie takes a moment rubbing up the ball. Now the windup in the 3-2 pitch. Swung on and popped up to the right side out of play. There's no play on it. The count holds at 3-2. Mackenzie looking in for the sign. As it now, the pitch swung on. It's a ground ball to third. Fielded back to the bag by Hershiser. The long throw in time, and he's out. Nice play by rookie Rick Hershiser. The hard hit ground ball over the bag, and he went down the line to field it, and then had the long throw that he got over to Thornberry in time. Thornberry making the shift nicely to take the throw that was a little high. And he backed on off the bag to allow Sievers to come by. 2 out, nobody on. Ted Savage coming up for the first time in the ball game. He is 1 for 3. Check it. Covington was 1 for 3. Savage up for his first time. He came on as a pinch runner for Covington in the top half of the 4th inning. Pitch is in there for a called strike. Zipped in by Ken Mackenzie. At San Francisco, it's Dick Ellsworth scoring for Chicago, and Billy Pierce pitching for the San Francisco Giants. Savage waits, changes speed. Outside for ball. It's 1-1. 2 men out, nobody on base for the Phils in the top half of the 6th inning. The Phillies 8 and the New York Mets 1. Fastball inside. It's 2-1. Right-hand batter, waiting for the pitch. Watches it inside, 3-1. Ted Savage, one-time most valuable player in the International League. He's waiting for a 3-1 pitch. Here it is, swung on and fouled off out of play. 3-2. So with 2 men out, we'll have a payoff pitch here. It's on the way. Swung on a high chopper. Could be trouble. Hershiser fields the ball. Has to throw on the run. He does, and he's out. Savage sliding into the bag at first is out as Hershiser fielded the ball on the run and fired on to Thornberry for the 2nd consecutive inning. Ken Mackenzie gets the start out in order on no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. The end of 5.5 innings of play. The score is Philadelphia Phillies 8 and the New York Mets 1. Here at the Polo Grounds, the New York Mets will be coming up in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Scheduled up are pitcher Ken Mackenzie, Richie Ashman, and Rod Neal. Art Mahaffey is on the mound for the Phils. And before we get underway here with the bottom half of the 6th, in order to allow our stations to identify themselves, we pause now for station identification.
This is WGY 810 on your radio dial, the General Electric station in Schenectady, where the time is now 2 minutes before 4 o'clock.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner. Ken Mackenzie comes around to bat. That's right-handed. I expect that he is a southpaw tosser. Mackenzie has given up only 2 hits to the Mets, both to Frank Thomas. A happy pitch is in there for a call, strike 1. Guinea work. Low for ball. It's 1-1. Don't forget that Stan Musial is going to be on it here at the Polo Grounds on August 17th. The night of August 17th. There's a fastball high. It's 2-1. Musial has requested that any cash donations be put into a scholarship fund for deserving youth in the metropolitan area. Two-one pitch, swung on and missed, strike 2. Has a fastball in there for a call, strike 3. Strikeout number 5 for Art Mahaffey. We'll bring up Richie Ashburn. The official paid attendance here this afternoon, 6,042. Service and press, 671. Midget Mets, 7,000. Total attendance in the ballpark, 13,713. Ashburn has been up twice, lined out and popped out. Happy pitches the fastball high. Ball 1. There's a pitch in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. High and away, 2-1. Don Demeter at third base in on the edge of the grass. He was right there in the first inning when Ashburn lined one that he was able to play backhanded for the out. Mahaffey's pitch is high. 3-1 to Richie Ashburn. Mets have had no base runners today with the exception of Frank Thomas. Homered in the second, single in the fourth. There have been no walks given by Mahaffey, no errors committed by the Phils. It's a called strike 2. It's 3-2 now, a full count. Out the dirt and firmed the rubber for a moment. Now working with a 3-2 pitch. Swung on, it's a ground ball to second base. Tony Taylor on a big hop. Plays over the Severs in time. He's out, 2 men away. Nobody on base, and Rod Neal coming up for the Mets. He has popped out and grounded out in 2 previous appearances at the plate. It's the Phillies 8 and the New York Mets 1. To Neal is low and away for ball 1. Charlie Neal has moved up to the on-deck slot now for the Mets. Happy with the pitch swung on by Neal, and it is popped up in foul territory. Coming back is catcher Clay Dalrymple. He makes the catch for the out. So Neal has fouled out to the catcher, and Mahaffey has set the Mets down in order in the bottom of the 6th with no runs, no hits, nor is nobody left. In the 6th full inning to play, the score is the Philadelphia Phillies 8 and the New York Mets 1. Coming in here now to carry the rest of the way, Bob Murphy.
Thank you very much, Lindsay. Tomorrow night, Cincinnati will be in. Freddie Hutchinson's ball club riding red hot right now. They've won 13 of their last 14 ball games. The National League appears to be on the way to producing a bumper crop of 20-game winners this year. And the Cincinnati Reds have two strong candidates for 20 victories or more and a third possibility. Bob Berkey and Joey Jay seem like almost certainties to win 20 or more. And Jim O'Toole, who has been pitching real good ball for well over a month now, has an outside chance to do it. In addition to the big three of the Cincinnati mound staff, of course, Don Drysdale of the Dodgers is almost a 20-game winner now. Sandy Koufax was well on his way when Sandy had the misfortune to come up with the numbness in his pitching hand that has sent him to the sidelines. If Sandy can get back before very long, he still has a chance to do it. And Art Mahaffey, hurling for the Phillies here this afternoon, is shooting for his 15th victory. And Mahaffey has lost only one ball game in almost 2 months. He lost the game to San Francisco on the 1st of July by a score of 5-4. And that is the only ball game that he has lost since the 10th of June. Back on the 10th of June, Mahaffey had won 6 and lost 8. And since then, he has won 8 and lost only 1. In the 7th inning, Don Demeter, the third baseman, leads off against Ken Mackenzie. Demeter has a perfect day at the plate, going with a base hit and 2 walks and 3 times up. Tall, rangy, right-hand pull hitter with good power. Swings and misses, strike 1. Ken Mackenzie has now worked 2 2/3 innings in relief. Ken has allowed no runs, no hits, walked 1, and struck out 3. Phillies out in front 8-1. We're in the top of the 7th. An off-speed pitch by Mackenzie taken. 1 ball, 1 strike. San Francisco Giants have a strong candidate to win 20 in Juan Marichal. The 1-1 pitch. Inside and low, and it's ball 2, 2-1. So you hear all the talk about the lively ball and the tape measure home runs and the tremendous number of home runs being hit, and yet this year the National League appears to be on its way to producing an unusual number of 20-game winners. Line drive hit hard in the air to right field. In comes Ritchie. He has it, 1 down. Hard line drive to right field, speared by Richie Ashburn. 1 away and nobody on. Clay Dalrymple coming up. Dalrymple 0 for 3. Started the afternoon hitting over 300, but has fallen down to about 297 on failing to get a hit and 3 times up. Strike 1 call. Philadelphia, 8 runs on 11 hits. New York, 1 run on 2 hits. Fouled back upstairs and out of play. In this 2-game series against the Phillies, they have hopped on the starting pitching and done the damage in the early innings. Phillies won 11-9 last night, and they scored 9 of the 11 runs in the first 4 innings. They lead 8-1 in this game and scored all 8 runs in the first 4 innings. 2-strike pitch to Dalrymple. A high fly ball lazily hit to straightaway center. Drawing a bead on it, Jim Hickman. He puts it away for the out. 2 up and 2 set aside by Portsider Ken Mackenzie, and on to hit now will be Ruben Amaro. When John Quinn moved from Milwaukee over to Philadelphia, the Whiz Kids had all become veterans, and the Phillies had hit rock bottom. So John then proceeded to try and start rebuilding the Phillies by swapping veterans to teams fighting for pennants to young ball players. Call strike on the outside corner, and the Phillies right now have a solid foundation of a young ball club with a lot of promise. They have some thunder in that lineup. About the only veterans going are Roy Sievers and Wes Covington. 1 ball and 1 strike. Starting lineup today, Tony Taylor was acquired from the Cubs. Johnny Callison from the White Sox. Tony Gonzalez from Cincinnati. Roy Sievers from the White Sox, Wes Covington from the Braves, Don Demeter from the Dodgers. Fouled out of play by Amaro. Clay Dalrymple was drafted during the winter meetings from Sacramento, and Ruben Amaro came in a swap from the St. Louis Cardinals. When Sally Hemus was managing St. Louis, he was sorely in need of a right-hand power hitter and swapped Ruben Amaro for Chuck Esijan. So by making a deal here and a deal there for young players, the Phillies have helped themselves. A foul pop-up, Throneberry will not be able to reach it. The Los Angeles Angels used the formula very well last year. They made numerous trades following the expansion draft, trading veterans for youngsters, and the youngsters came surprisingly fast. The Mets are hoping that the many youngsters they have on their squad that there will be rapid development. Fouled out of play off to the right by Ruben Amaro, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Mets have a few veterans, such as Roger Craig and Gil Hodges, but for the most part, it's a very young squad, particularly the pitching staff. One and two, the count on Ruben Amaro. Ken Mackenzie delivers a swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Ken Mackenzie, for the third straight inning, sets the Phillies down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. And now at the end of 6.5 innings, the score, the Phillies 8 and the New York Mets 1. Now the New York Mets will have Charlie Neal batting against Art Mahaffey in the last half of the 7th inning. Mahaffey, who has been pitching brilliantly, pitching with that same form this afternoon. He has given up only 2 hits, both collected by Frank Thomas. Pitch thrown by Mahaffey, and he goes with a blazer, strike 1 call. In winning 8 of his last 9 decisions and 6 of the 8 victories, Mahaffey has given up 2 runs or less. Change up, there goes the bat, there goes the ball, there goes Jack, there goes Jill, and they're both going down the foul line. Two-strike count on Charlie Neal. Nobody on, nobody out. Last half of the 7th inning, Phillies in front, leading by 7. They lead 8-1. Swing and a miss. Neal went after a curve and strikes out. So Art Mahaffey gets strikeout number 6. That Mahaffey's career might have been cut short. In early September last year, he was running into second base and was hit at point-blank range by a throw on an attempted double play. He got it right in the head. He was out the rest of the year, and many were afraid that it might bother him, but he has certainly come back strong. Long drive to left field, and there it goes, a home run for Thomas. Groove now. Frank 3 for 3 this afternoon, a single and 2 home runs. He has the only 3 hits given up by Art Mahaffey. He is in that real good groove. Every time he hits it, it's a hard, screaming line drive. That was a climbing line drive that banged against the scoreboard and left. Throneberry swings and misses, strike 1. So Frank Thomas, as the Mets return to the Polo Grounds, has knocked 4 home runs in 2 ball games. Frank now has 23 for the year and 69 runs batted in. Curve taken high. 1 ball, 1 strike to Marv Thronberg. Pitching 1-1. An off-speed delivery by Mahaffey. Count 2-1. 8-2 now. Phillies in front. Thomas picking up a run on his second home run of the game. So Thomas knocked 6 runs in last night and hit 2 home runs. He has 2 home runs and a single and 2 RBIs today. Swing and a miss. Thronberry after the quick one, and the count even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pitching 2-2. A drive hit deep to right field. This one's going. It is gone. Upper deck home run. Marv Thronberry crossing home plate with a home run into the upper deck in right field. For Thronberry, his 6th of the year. That makes it an 8-3 ball game. All 3 of the New York runs scoring on home runs. 2 by Thomas, 1 by Thronberry. Back-to-back home runs by Thomas and Thronberry. Mets now with 3 runs on 4 hits. Now the batter is Jim Hickman. Jim 0 for 2. A happy pitch to him. Right in there, strike 1 call. Jim was robbed of an extra base hit on a glittering play in the field by Don Demeter back in the 2nd, and he was struck out in the 5th inning. Now Mahaffey looking in to Clay Dalrymple for his bag. Winds and pitches. A high fly ball into left field. It's fairly deep. Drifting back goes Savage. He's under it, and he makes the catch on the edge of the warning path and left. 2 men down. Hickman with a fly ball that carried deep. Now Choo-Choo Coleman coming on. Choo-Choo has fouled out to Tony Taylor and taken a called 3rd strike. He's 0 for 2. In comes the pitch, a line drive foul. Pulled over into the seats down the right field line by Clarence Coleman. Choo-Choo has that kind of swing. He pulls a lot of foul balls down the right field line. Up high, and the count is even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch on the way. A breaking ball taken. Count 2-1. They're in the 8th inning in Cleveland with the Los Angeles Angels, leading Cleveland 3-1. Ryan Duran is on in relief. Kansas City 4, Detroit 2 in the last of the 7th. Red Sox lead Chicago 7-3 after 5.5. Breaking ball over. A call strike. 2-2. Minnesota at Baltimore tonight. The Yankees and Senators not scheduled. The Cubs scored a run off Billy Pierce in the 1st inning in San Francisco. 2-2 delivery, hit foul, a pop-up over toward the seats, no play. Thomas has now hit 6 home runs against the Phillies this year, and he's hitting almost 400 against them. Count 2-2 on Choo-Choo Coleman. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Art Mahaffey fanning Coleman his 7th strikeout. Side retired in the 7th, 2 runs on 2 hits. Back-to-back home runs by Frank Thomas and Marv Throneberry. No errors, none left on. Now at the end of 7, the score, it's the Phillies 8 runs on 11 hits and no errors. The New York Mets 3 runs on 4 hits and 1 error. 5 games over the weekend now with Cincinnati, a night game tomorrow night. Rheingold Day, the big doubleheader Saturday, and another big doubleheader on Sunday. When the Mets return from their brief road trip to open their next homestand on August 14th, we'll have a lot of action getting underway right here in the Polo Grounds. 2 great nights for 2 great guys. Stan Musial night, August 17th, and Gil Hodges night on August 24th. Gil Hodges, Gil Hodges, a man of real class and a man who has provided so much entertainment and so many thrills for baseball fans over the years here in New York City, has requested that any cash donations be handled by the Gil Hodges Foundation, Box 14, that's Gil's number, Brooklyn 10, New York. The aim will be to establish a college scholarship for deserving youths. Dollars for Scholars. Ross DiLorenzo, in accepting the presidency of the foundation, announced that it would be a permanent organization and that the proceeds will be used to assist worthy youngsters in this area who otherwise might not be able to attend college. The 8th inning here at the Polo Grounds with Art Mahaffey leading off against Ken Mackenzie. Mahaffey 2 hits and 3 times up. He singled in the 2nd inning, hit a grand slam home run in the 3rd inning. Mackenzie delivers right in there for a call strike. Now, Choo-Choo Coleman setting up the target. The pitch to Mahaffey backs him up from the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Phillies fly to Milwaukee for a series over the weekend against Bertie Tevis Braves, while the Mets remain at home meeting Freddie Hutchinson's Cincinnati Reds. The 1-1 pitch, and he pops it up off the first and foul ground. Choo-Choo is after it, and he circles it, and it can't be held on to. Coleman took his eye off the ball at the last moment to look and see where Throneberry was. Marv was coming over, too. Ball hit off the back end of the catcher's mitt, bounced in the air. He got his mitt to it again, but couldn't hold it. And no error is charged. One and 2 the count now on Art Mahaffey. Ken Mackenzie, over the head, down comes the left arm, strike 3 called, a fastball, and he knew it. That is strikeout number 4 for Ken Mackenzie in relief, and it brings up Tony Taylor. Tony has 1 hit and 4 times up. 2 for 9 in the series. Tony, a right-hand hitter, stands well back from the plate and bends from the waist. Inside and low, it's ball 1. He reminds you a little bit of Big Power the way he bats. Tony hitting at 267. Foul ball. It rips back upstairs into the crowd. No play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Mackenzie checking with Choo-Choo, and the pitch is just off the outside edge. 2 balls and 1 strike. We're in the 8th inning with the Phillies out in front 8-3. They have 8 runs on 11 hits. The Mets 3 runs on 4 hits. And the home run has been the big weapon throughout the afternoon. Ground ball hit the shortstop. Coming in, Charlie Neal, and it goes right through Charlie's legs on into left field. And Taylor's on his way to second. Thomas comes in, picks it up, no throw, and Taylor goes all the way to second base. There'll be an error all the way, charged to Charlie Neal. Ball went through the legs of Charlie Neal, slowed up in the grass, and rolled almost to a stop. Taylor, with good running speed, saw the ball was rolling slow, and he just kept going and goes on to second. Now the right fielder, Johnny Callison, will be hitting against Ken Mackenzie. Callison has 1 hit, a single to right field, and 3 times up. He also has drawn a walk. Johnny Callison hitting at .297. He's in his 3rd year with the Phillies. He's only 23 years old. He came to the Phillies when the Phils started exchanging veterans for promising youngsters. They sent Gene Freese to the White Sox to get Callison. Foul ball, back upstairs and out of play. White Sox, at the time they made the deal, realized that they were trading away a young ball player with a world of promise, but by the same token, they felt they had a good shot at the pennant and wanted the veteran Gene Freese. Lined hard to left, the base hit for Johnny Callison. Taylor around third is digging for the plate. Here comes the peg in, cut off by Hershiser, thrown to second to slide out at second base. Rod Neal putting the tag on Johnny Callison. Good play by rookie third baseman Rick Hershiser. He cut off the throw coming in by Thomas and rifled on to Rod Neal, and they get Johnny Callison. Good throw from the outfield by Frank Thomas. He hit his cutoff man shoulder high. Give Callison a run batted in, scoring Tony Taylor. First run scored by the Phillies since Ken Mackenzie came in the game. Fouled out of play by Tony Gonzalez. Gonzalez homered in the first inning and since then has grounded out, reached on a fielder's choice, and been struck out. 1 hit and 4 times up. Pitch on the way. Down around the knees inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Run scoring hit by Johnny Callison is the first hit, given up in relief by Ken Mackenzie. Ken came on to replace starting pitcher Craig Anderson back in the 4th inning. Now Ken winds and pitches to Gonzalez. Inside and low, it's ball 2, 2-1. Phillies lead now 9-3. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Next pitch. Inside and high. Ball 3, 3-1. Tony Taylor reached safely on an error. He went all the way to second and came in to score on the opposite field hit by Callison. Here's the windup pitch by Mackenzie, inside and high. It's ball 4, and Gonzalez walks. That is only the second walk given by Mackenzie. He walked the first batter that he faced when he relieved back in the 4th. That was Don Demeter. But then he got Clay Dalrymple on a call third strike and got Ruben Amaro to bounce into a force play that retired the side. Roy Seaver's batting. Roy's had a big day with 3 hits and 4 times up. 2 singles and a double, and the double was a shot of over 400 feet off the wall in deep left, out by the bullpen. Mackenzie up in pitching position. Delivers. Inside and low. 1 ball, no strikes. pitch on the way. A high fly hit the left center, drifting over to his glove side. Frank Thomas, he's under it. And Frank makes the grab for the out. In the 8th inning, Philadelphia, 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. The run is an unearned run. At the end of 7 1/2 innings, the score, the Phillies 9 and the Mets 3. Well, you know, the New York area has just about everything. I'd say it's the most wonderful place in the world. You name it, New York has it. Parks, beaches, baseball, football, golf, lakes, and amusement. People in New York have a lot to choose from, and that goes for beers, too. You know, there are quite a few brands of beer on the market. And I think it's really something that of all the brands of beer available, New Yorkers have made Rheingold Extra Dry their favorite. And that's quite a tribute to the quality of Rheingold. Rheingold is brewed of the choicest ingredients, brewed the long, slow, costly way, the extra dry way. And extra dry tells you why Rheingold is so wonderful, so much more refreshing. It's beer as beer should taste, brisk and bright and clean clear through. Why not enjoy the extra refreshment of Rheingold Extra Dry beer along with the game? Join the millions who say, my beer is Rheingold the dry beer. Hershiser leading off at the home 8, swings and hits one high in the air to short center. Tony Gonzalez comes in to make the catch for the out. One change for the Phillies in the last of the 8th inning. Frank Torrey relieves Roy Sievers at first base. Roy putting another real strong game for the Phillies with 3 for 5, 2 singles and a double. Double, one of the longest shots of the year. Deep to left center out by the bullpen and banging off the wall. Now Joe Christopher is coming up to bat for Ken Mackenzie. Right-hander Ray Davio in the bullpen for New York. One away, nobody on, last of the 8th inning, and Joe Christopher bats for Ken Mackenzie. Mackenzie pitched very well in relief. He worked 4 2/3 innings. He gave up just 1 hit, 1 run. 1 run is unearned. Art Mahaffey, out of his windup, pitches to Christopher. Look out, Solly. A hard liner, and Solly Hemus had to go right on the seat of his pants to get out of the way of that one. Oh, that ball was coming right at Solly's eye. Looked like he fell backwards right over our heads getting out of the way of that one. 1 strike count on Joe Christopher. Mahaffey winding. Down comes his pitch. An off-speed pitch on the outside edge of the plate. Strike 2. Bills 9 runs, 12 hits. Mets 3 runs, 4 hits. We're in the home 8th inning. Mahaffey cranks up, delivers. Curve bounced foul in the dirt right by home plate. Count strike 2 on Joe Christopher. They're in the last of the 9th inning in Cleveland now with the Angels, leading the Indians 5-2. Ryan Duran on in relief. Bo Belinsky was the starter. And the Indians have used 4 pitchers: Grant, Funk, Ramos, and Bell. Fastball just outside, 1-2. They're in the 8th inning in Detroit. Kansas City leading the Tigers by a score of 4-2. They lead on Seburn's 3-run homer. And the Red Sox lead the White Sox 7-3 after 5.5. Minnesota at Baltimore tonight. The Yankees and Senators not scheduled. The only other day game in the National League is at Candlestick Park. Strike 3 call. Christopher caught looking at a hummer. Cubs lead the Giants 1-0 after an inning and a half. Ellsworth against Pierce. Well, that is the 8th strikeout for right-hander Art Mahaffey. Art Mahaffey, tall young right-hander from Cincinnati, Ohio, looking for his 15th win of the year. If he wins today, he will have won 9 of his last 10 decisions. Strike call to Richie Ashburn. He lost the game to the Giants, a complete ball game that he pitched and lost 5-4 on July 1st. That's the only time that he's been beaten since the 10th of June. In the dirt, Richie had to jump out of the way of that. 1 ball, 1 strike. And, of course, he is the big man of the Philly mound staff, and he's out on that firing line every 4 days. 1-1 delivery. Way inside. Richie had to whirl to come out of the way of that one. 2 balls and a strike. Richie 0 for 3. He has a 10-game hitting streak in jeopardy. As he bats here in the 8th inning, both Ashburn and Neal riding consecutive game streaks, and both are in jeopardy. What a remarkable year for Richie. He's been on base some 44% of the time all year long. That's a lot of trips down to first base. Pitching 2-1. An off-speed curve in there for a call strike. 2-2 now on Ashburn. Top 10 based on 250 at-bats right now. And Richie, who went to the 250 mark in the game last night, now ranked among the top 10 hitters in the National League. Count 2-2. Mahaffey over the head. Down comes the arm. Fouled upstairs and out of play. Rod Neal crouched in the on-deck circle, hoping that Richie can save him a stick here in the home 8th inning. Phil's in front 9-3. Fouled, out of play once again. And while we wait for the new ball to go in play, a quick pause for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady, 810 on your dial, where the time is now 24 minutes before 5 o'clock.
Count 2-2 on Ashburn. Mahaffey pitches to him. Ground foul, and Solly has to get out of the way again. I'll tell you, it's a good thing Solly's in good shape the way he's had to move around on the coaching lines down at third in this inning. Joe Christopher hit a line drive that was headed right towards Solly's head. He hit the dirt to get out of the way of that one. 2-2 pitch. A little bit high, ball 3. And now the string is out. 3-2 on Richie Ashburn. Mahaffey cranks up. The 3-2 pitch, ground foul off to the left, no play. Tell you one thing, if you had 50-cent piece for every foul ball that Richie Ashburn hit over the last 15 years, you could take yourself a pretty good vacation. And Richie apparently broke his bat on that last one, so we wait now for Bat Boy Harvey Canister to bring a new one out to him. Full count, 3-2. Mahaffey delivers 3-2, and it's high, ball 4, and Ashburn 1. Well, there is the first walk given up in the game by Mahaffey, and it brings up Rod Neal. Rod 0 for 3 has popped to third, grounded out pitcher to first, and fouled out to the catcher. Mahaffey, for the most part, has been overpowered. Tries to bunt his way on, misses, strike one. Rod tried to conceal his intentions and dumped that one down the third baseline. Curve is over, a call strike, and now Mahaffey has Rod Keneal 2 strikes. Last half of the eighth inning, Phil's lead 9-3. 2-strike pitch. Strike 3 call. Keneal caught looking. And Art Mahaffey runs the total now to 9 strikeouts in the game. In the eighth inning, New York, no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on. 8 innings complete. The score, Phillies 9 and the Mets 3. In the ninth inning, Ray Davio comes in to pitch for the New York Mets. Ken Mackenzie leaving the scene in favor of a pinch hitter. Ken Mackenzie had good stuff. He turned in a top-notch relief job. He worked 4 2/3 innings. He allowed just 1 unearned run. Gave up only 1 hit, and that was a single to the opposite field by Johnny Callison. Walked 2 men and struck out 4. But the Mets have been unable to break through against Art Mahaffey. In the ninth inning, the Phillies will have Don Demeter, Clay Dalrymple, and Ruben Amaro coming up against French Canadian Ray Davio. Phillies go on to Milwaukee. Joey Jay pitches the opener of the series for Cincinnati right here tomorrow night. And he'll be opposed by the winningest member of the pitching staff of the New York Mets, right-hander Jay Hook. Doubleheader Saturday, doubleheader Sunday. Then the Mets open their road trip Monday night in Dodger Stadium on the West Coast. They'll have a hurried trip to the West this time, 2 days in L.A., 2 days in San Francisco, then back to Cincinnati. Winding up the trip in Cincinnati and coming home to open a good homestand on the 14th of August. Sometimes the old summer really flies by after that August homestand, which takes up just about all of the second half of August. They'll be painting that little red school building. Outside and high, 1 ball and no strikes. Ted Savage, who replaced Wes Covington in the outfield. 0 for 1. Pitched by Davio a little bit low. Ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. Savage had a tremendous little World Series last year. He was great not only in the International League playoffs, but in the little World Series, and he was the top man in the International League. Right-hand batter with good power. And the pitch gets the outside corner for a strike, 2-1. Remember in the early part of the year when the Phillies came into New York and Savage was in action, he hit a ball a country mile in center field that was caught. Two-one delivery. Blazing fastball over. Davio really cranked up on that one, and the count 2-2. Phillies following the same pattern today they used successfully last night, scoring early. Last night they scored 9 of their 11 in the first 4 innings. Today they have scored 8 of their 9 runs in the first 4 innings. Two pitch. He swung and missed strike 3. That was a breaking ball down in the dirt. and Savage started after it, then tried to hold up. But he had gone too far. Coleman scooped the ball out of the dirt and put the tag on Ted Savage. Now the hitter is Don Demeter. Demeter has one hit and 2 times up this afternoon. Tall, rangy, right-hand pull hitter takes outside and low. It's ball 1. He has the fielding play of the day. He robbed Jim Hickman of a double. With a remarkable backhand play, it actually looked as though the ball had gone by Demeter, but with those long arms on a backhand stretch, he grabbed it over the line and threw him out. Check swing and a foul ball off to the right. 1 ball, 1 strike. One away, nobody on. We're in the 9th. Phillies in front, 9-3. Taken high on the count, 2-1. 5 home runs in the game. The Mets hitting 3, and the Phillies hitting 2. One of the 2 by the Phillies was a grand slam by pitcher Art Mahaffey. Ground ball past the mound over second, going into center field. A base hit for Demeter. So Demeter has 2 for 3 as he swings around first. Hickman playing the ball back in. Clay Dalrymple 0 for 4. Clay has flied to left center, been struck out, been called out, and flied to center. Dalrymple hitting at 297, left-hand batter. Slightly open stance and feet wide apart. Mets have the infield set up looking for 2. A peg to first by Davio, not in time. Charlie Neal shaded towards second against left-hand hitter Clay Dalrymple. Davio's pitch. Grounded foul down the first baseline, no play. We're in the 9th inning. The game sent to you with the best wishes of Rheingold Extra Dry. Rheingold hopes that you'll be on hand for the big doubleheader Saturday on Rheingold Day. Throw to first, not in time. Now the pitch to Dalrymple, a knee-high strike. 12 runs scored this afternoon, 8 of the 12 knocked in with home runs. Frank Thomas will be coming up again in the last of the 9th inning, and when he does, he'll be looking for his 3rd home run of the game. A throw to first, almost a wide throw. Marv reaching out to grab it. Ray Davio working out in front on Clay Dalrymple with a 2-strike count. Don Demeter a short lead off first, 1 away, top of the 9th inning. Davio up in pitching position. Delivers. Curve hit hard but foul down the first base line. Well, this has been a beautiful day for a ball game. Skies a high, endless, brilliant blue. Just here and there an occasional puffy, white, harmless cloud. Temperature about 85 degrees. Now Dalrymple cowtailing that bat around. Coxes the pitch. Lined foul down the right field line. He went after the inside pitch and pulled it foul. Count stays as strike 2 on Dalrymple. Clay Dalrymple was drafted by the Philadelphia Phillies from Sacramento of the Pacific Coast League. Now Davio into the set position. Turns and just lobs the ball over to first base. San Francisco tallied a run to tie up the Cubs 1-1 at the end of 2.5 innings. Ellsworth against Pierce. Foul ball again, another long drive. This one goes back up into the seats. They're in the last of the 9th inning in Cleveland. The Angels out in front of Cleveland, 5-2. Last of the 8th inning in Detroit. Kansas City leading the Tigers, 5-2. They're in the 8th inning in Comiskey Park. The Red Sox lead the White Sox 7-3. Minnesota at Baltimore tonight. The Yankees and Senators not scheduled. Right here, we're in the 9th. Phillies in front, 9-3. Dalrymple giving Davio a real workout with those foul balls. Breaking ball just missing. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mets and the Phillies see quite a bit of each other during the month of August. At the end of the month, the Mets will be down in Philadelphia for the series down there, and the Phillies come back here on the 14th. Throw to first, not in time. Pitching 1-2. And it's popped up down the left field line. Kind of a tough chance. Rick Hershiser running down the line, and Charlie Neal in front of him makes the catch. Charlie Neal cutting in front. The play at first. He's out at first base. Beautiful play by Charlie Neal. We were watching Hershiser. He was running right down the left field line with his back to the plate. Neal was angling over toward the line at the last moment, and how they kept from colliding, I'll never know. Neal dashed in front, made the grab, and running on the play was Don Demeter. He thought the ball was going to be a base hit. And Neal whirled and threw the ball back to Thornberry in time for a double play. Beautiful play by Charlie Neal. Side out in the 9th inning with no runs, 1 hit, no errors, none left on. And now at the end of 8.5 innings, the score, the Phillies 9 and the Mets 3. Now the last of the 9th inning, and Charlie Neal leads off against Art Mahaffey. He'll be followed by Frank Thomas, and then Marv Thornberry. Charlie 0 for 3 has flied to right, been struck out twice. And he fouls the ball high in the air off to the right. Coming over, Frank Torrey hoping for a play beyond his reach. Frank trying to slam on the brakes. Crashes into the field box railing, but he isn't hurt. Strike count on Charlie Neal. Last of the 9th inning. Mahaffey's pitch is swing and a miss on a quick one. Strike 2. Art Mahaffey has walked only 1, struck out 9 men. Given up 3 runs, 4 hits. 3 of the 4 hits have been bases empty home runs. Thomas hitting 2 and Thornberry hitting 1. Line drive hit foul going down the right field line. This will be up into the crowd. Both Richie Ashburn and Rod Keneal have been held in check by Art Mahaffey. Ashburn had hit safely in 10 straight games and Keneal 11 straight, and both stand to have their streak scissored unless the Mets can really get a big inning going here in the last half of the 9th inning. Now Mahaffey with the 2-strike count on Neal delivers a little bit high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Curve is inside. Ball 2 and the count even, 2-2. Nobody on, nobody out. Last half of the ninth. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Mahaffey fans Charlie Neal for the third time in the game. That's 10 strikeouts for Art Mahaffey, and here's the hand for Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas has now hit 8 home runs in the last 12 ball games in which he has started. He appeared in 2 other games as a pinch hitter. But in the last 12 games that Frank started, he's hit 8 home runs. Thomas, 2 home runs and a single, 3 for 3 this afternoon. Frank now has 23 home runs, 69 runs batted in. Check swing and a slow grounder off to the left, strike 1. 24-year-old Art Mahaffey trying for his 9th decision in his last 10. Trying to pick up his 15th win. The month of July, he won 5 and he lost only 1. Pitch to Thomas. Squibbler hit off the end of the bat foul and the count strike 2. Mahaffey started his good streak in early June. He lost his 8th game of the year on the 10th of June, and at that time he had won 6 and lost 8. Next time out, he really went to work. Mahaffey winding the 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball off the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Thomas hitting here in the 9th inning with a shot at a 3rd home run in 1 game. The 1-2 pitch, grounded foul, hit down the 3rd baseline. Count stays at 1-2. Now the windup pitch by Mahaffey, ripped foul back into the screen, and the count stays 1 ball, 2 strikes. A night game against Cincinnati tomorrow night, and Freddie Hutchinson will be pitching Joey J. The New York Mets will have Jay Hook on the mound. Both Bob Perky and Joey J. well on their way to a 20-victory season for Cincinnati. And Jim O'Toole, who has been mighty hot for the last month or 5 weeks, is on his way. Outside and low, 2-2. O'Toole has a lot of ground to cover to make it, and must be considered an outside shot at the best, but nonetheless, the way he's going could do it. Giants got 2 runs in the 3rd inning. They lead the Cubs now 3-1 at the end of 3 innings. 2-2 pitch. Ball 3 outside and low, and the string is out. 3-2 on Frank Thomas. Phillies go on to Milwaukee, where they'll hope to gain a measure of revenge, because 2 weekends ago the Braves came into Philadelphia and really broke out against the Phillies. Now the payoff pitch, grounded foul. That went right to Solly. He didn't have to move. He just stood there and caught it. Three and 2 on Frank Thomas. Mahaffey out of his windup. The pitch, swing, and a miss. He struck him out. Number 11 for Art Mahaffey. Two down, nobody on now in the last of the ninth inning, and the batter is Marv Throneberry. Marv 1 for 3, belted a shot into the upper deck in right field for a home run, his 6th of the year in the 7th inning. Taken high, 1 ball, no strikes. Jim Hickman waiting on deck. Fouled out of play. 1-1. Once before this year, Mahaffey struck out 11 men in 1 ball game, and that was against the Milwaukee Braves. July the 20th. A long drive. That's a home run if you ever saw one. Headed toward the roof and over the roof. Marv Throneberry with his 2nd home run of the game. Oh, what a shot that was. He pulled it, hit it a mile high, and it sailed over the roof in right field. Not too far from the foul pole. Throneberry's 2nd home run of the game. So Marv has hit number 6 and number 7 this afternoon. It is now a 9-4 ball game, and Gene Woodling will hit for Jim Hickman. Pretty good assault in the game today by Thomas and Throneberry. Thomas 3 for 4 and 2 home runs. Throneberry 2 for 4, 2 home runs. Gene Woodling up, and the breaking pitch by Mahaffey is in there for a strike. The Mets have 5 hits in the game, and 4 of the 5 have been home runs. The only hit that wasn't a home run was a single by Thomas in the 4th inning. Phillies lead 9-4. In comes the pitch to Woodling. He lets it go. It's inside and low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Mahaffey delivers. Swing and a miss on a fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Gene Woodling. Only one other day game in the National League. That's in San Francisco. And it's over. Strike 3 called, and the game is over. And by winding up the game with a strikeout, Mahaffey achieves a seasonal high in strikeouts in 1 ball game by finishing up with number 12. So the side is out in the 9th inning. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, none left on. And the Phillies sweep the abbreviated 2-game series as they win today by a score of 9-4. We'll have the line score of today's game for you in just a moment. Well, pipe smokers, relax in a man's world with mild Sir Walter Raleigh. Sir Walter Raleigh is known as the brand of grand aroma. You know, you'll enjoy it from the very first pipeful. It's choice Kentucky Burley, extra aged. Smells grand, packs right, smokes sweet, can't bite. Yes, choice Kentucky Burleys are extra aged to their peak of mildness to help you enjoy pipe smoking more. And Sir Walter Raleigh's pouch pack keeps tobacco 44% fresher. You can feel the tobacco is kept fresh and moist by the Sir Walter Raleigh pouch pack. The pouch is sturdy and flexible, too, won't bulge in your pocket. And for home or office, get Sir Walter Raleigh in the exclusive knob-top vacuum pack canisters. Large economy size or the half canister. These humidor canisters keep Sir Walter Raleigh factory fresh. So men, light up with the quality pipe tobacco. Sir Walter Raleigh in the pouch pack or exclusive knob-top canisters. Sir Walter Raleigh, the brand of grand aroma. The Philadelphia Phillies, behind the strong pitching of Art Mahaffey and a grand slam home run by Art Mahaffey, win today's game 9-4 to sweep the 2-game series from the New York Mets. Art Mahaffey rolling along toward a 20-game season. The young right-hander from Cincinnati, Ohio, has now won 9 of his last 10 decisions. And he's lost only one ball game since the 10th of June. And we're now rolling pretty close to the 10th of August, not too far from it. So you can see the kind of ball that Art Mahaffey has been pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies. The New York Mets hit 4 home runs this afternoon. Frank Thomas hitting 2 and Marv Throneberry hitting 2. Thomas now has hit 8 home runs in the last 12 ball games in which he has started. Frank hiking his totals now to 23 for the year and 69 runs batted in. And Marv Throneberry hit his 6th and 7th. But the Philadelphia Phillies scored 8 runs, 8 of their 9 in the first 4 innings, and worked behind a big lead throughout the ball game. In the game last night, they scored 9 of their 11 runs in the first 4 innings. The big man, RBI-wise, Art Mahaffey with his grand slam home run. In base hits for the Phillies, Roy Sievers had 3 for 5, 2 singles, and about a 430-foot double off the wall out by the bullpen in left center field. For the Phillies, 9 runs on 13 hits, no errors, 7 left. New York, 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors, and 2 left on. Mahaffey winning his 15th against 9 losses and posting his 15th complete game and achieving a seasonal high in strikeouts by fanning 12 men. Losing pitcher Craig Anderson. Craig now 3-12 on the year. Best pitching in the game for New York by Ken Mackenzie. In 4 2/3 innings, he allowed just 1 hit, a single to the opposite field, gave up 1 unearned run, walked 2, and struck out 4. But the Phillies win at the final score, 4. And now the Cincinnati Reds come in to open a 5-game series with Jay Hook opposing Joey J. right here at the Polo Grounds tomorrow night. This broadcast came to you through the courtesy of Liebman Breweries, Brooklyn, New York, and the Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation. It's authorized under radio rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Right now, I'd like to remind you to enjoy fine cold Rheingold. Rheingold Extra Dry. Those 2 little words, extra dry, tell you why Rheingold is preferred by more New Yorkers than any other beer. Fans enjoy a nice cold, ice-cold glass of good Rheingold Extra Dry. Now, this is Bob Murphy saying so long for Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner, our statistician Joe McDonald, and our engineer Joe Burnham, and for Viceroy. Viceroy is not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. That's right. Final score, Phillies 9 and the Mets 4.